Hey everybody, Barry here again. I am removing the mid-mount turbo from Desperado. Yeah, no really though, I am.
I know, it's dumb. I know. I did a bunch of work, bought some parts, and I'm just gonna reverse it, but whatever. It was fun while it lasted. The turbo looks so cool up there though. Dude. And it actually worked really well except for taking 5 minutes to build up any boost. But, you know, and also it made less boost and made less power. So it was just not great. Anyway, so I'm going to remove all of this and remove the long tubes. I'm probably going to put those on my wife's Escalade or maybe the Rat Rod or something like that. They are awesome. They never gave me any issues whatsoever. And they're ones that Flash Arc sent me, so that was really cool of them, but I'll be putting them on something. Anyway, I'm going to put the log manifold back on and a stock manifold back on this side, run my oil line down around there up to the turbo. Everything's going to be just fine there. I don't regret doing this whatsoever, mainly because I learned two cool things. I absolutely love the sound of the wastegate going back into the tailpipe. Oh my God, did it ever sound good.
With the old setup, I had the wastegate dumping right in under my driver's seat, at the ground. It was extremely obnoxious, so loud. The second it would get into boost, it was like a 2-inch straight pipe right in under your seat. That is disgusting, and I didn't like it right from day one. Since I put the wastegate back into the tailpipe, all I hear is turbo, and it is loud. All that turbo whistle, it just sounds so good. I could do a full quarter-mile run and not hear the exhaust at all. Only turbo whistle. Big fan of that, and I will be doing it again.
The other thing is this 3.5-inch exhaust, just a regular single, out the stock location. Man, I love it. It sounds amazing. It's got a nice deep growl to it. It's not clappy sounding, and I'm a huge fan. So basically, it's going to have a 3-inch straight pipe all the way back here to that tailpipe, and then right out the back. So I think with the turbo even further up front, it might sound deeper. Well, we'll find out anyway.
Now this is not going to be a full-on detailed video about changing it all over and stuff. This is just one of those fun, random little update videos where as I do the work, I'll check in here and there. And if I run into any trouble, anything like that, I'll be sure to show that.
Anyway, I'm going to start pulling it apart. Turbo's down. Got that down pretty much all in one piece. I just let go of the V-band back here, charge tube, couple lines, you know, that kind of thing. And then the 2 bolts up here on this flange, and that whole unit dropped down. Isn't that cool? I love that. Now I can take off the drain, I can take off the bolts for the turbo down there, comfortably over on the bench. Had a little bit of mess with the oil, but that's not a serious deal. Oh, better take my V-band gasket. This came with the V-band flange that I bought for the GT45, and it has never leaked, ever. It's just a thin piece of sheet metal. And to be honest, I wish I had one for right here. This is 3 1/4, and this here is 2 1/2. I did cut up a regular old exhaust gasket, as you can see right here, and it's got a little metal flange on the inside of it, and it's kind of like a composite on the outside. So I'm hoping that's going to work. It sits nice and flush with the pipe, and it's kind of hard to get off. So we'll see. Maybe a little bit of ultra copper just to make sure it won't go anywhere. Log manifold is back in its home where it belongs. I'm not sure if I'm going to have room for the wastegate like I was imagining. This wheel arch thing right here is pretty close. So what I think I may do is cut the flange off of this pipe here, turn it sideways, and then my dump pipe will come along here and then kick right up into the tailpipe, which is usually like right here somewhere. And I think that'll be just fine. I don't mind the wastegate pipe being a little bit long, and I'll just kick it off into the pipe and all will be well. I gotta get that wastegate off, but it was under the truck and I drove it into winter, which was a horrible idea. So the bolts are stuck in pretty good. I've been spraying deep creep on this for like 3 days now, and it's not working. So a little blowtorch it is. So I'm gonna keep trying to get that off. I don't really like how this wastegate reacted before, like it would open as soon as I get into boost, like 1 psi, that would be open. So I don't know if the diaphragm is weak, I don't know if the spring is weak or what it is. That's been on there for a few minutes and it is pretty hot now, so I'm just gonna put this aside and give it a good spray with some deep creep just to see what happens. This usually works really well. Now I'm gonna turn on the fan because I'm sure that's not good on lungs. But get it down and under the threads there. This almost acts like a shock too. Like if you threw cold water on this now, it would probably work well enough. But I just like deep creep. Let's just see if that worked at all. Ooh, got a little trick out of it. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Man, that's why I love deep creep. You definitely want a fan on because that is not good for your lungs. All right, on the other side. There's the other side. Now, deep creep is super flammable, so don't spray it while you have a blowtorch on because it will flare up like it just did and burn the hair off my knuckles. But it's okay. To be honest, I think this is actually getting somewhere. I have it bolted up to the manifold up there. Comes across here, you can't see anything because it's too dark. And it's up to the back of the log manifold there. Assuming that gasket holds in place and doesn't leak, should be in good shape. Now I just got to do this wastegate thing. I don't know how much room I'm going to have because it's pretty tight there. But I don't know. We'll see. I just cut the wastegate off of my mid-mount turbo up pipe thing. And I have a terrible idea. It's absolutely awful. But a lot of people have done it and it works. And that is, no surprise, weld that guy right onto there. I can have it like, say right here, it's out of the way. I can angle it whichever way I need to, and it would send a dump pipe right back into the exhaust down here further. And I think it's a pretty neat little package, assuming I can get this housing to weld to this regular old mild steel pipe. To be honest, I think it's doable. Depending on if my old MIG welder can handle that and not mess it up. I suppose I could put the blowtorch on there, preheat it, do the best job I can, but I'm really thinking about going for it. Here I have this 1 7/8 jet hole saw, and it is a little bigger than this, but to be honest, I think that would just give me a little bit of wiggliness, a little bit of adjustment in the housing when I cut it out and be able to fill the weld a little more. I think I may go for that one. Well, whoever said this is a terrible idea, you're probably right. Let's see if this hole saw is going to work. I cut this with the hole saw and then ran a line down through the middle with the angle grinder. I'll see if I can split those pieces apart now because this is a divided housing, so there's a rib going the whole way up through the center. This might work, it might not work, I don't know. Well, doesn't seem to want to yet. Well, I gave it a couple cracks and it seems like it might be ready to pop out of there. I don't know if it's gonna be easy or not. After I get these little pieces of pie out, I'll know more about what I'm getting into here. I'll be able to clean it up with the Dremel. Oh, there we go, look at that. That's not so bad. Very nice. Yeah, so I'll be able to get in there, clean that up with a Dremel. I'll beat these pieces off. Now, I will be able to narrow this out quite a lot more, but I think I have some more hole sawing to do. This is probably going to look not so ideal. I really should have used a smaller hole saw and let it run around in circles and make a bigger hole that would have probably fit this better. But I'm just going to have to deal with what I have. I thought about maybe putting a sleeve on the outside of this pipe and have it be a little bit tighter in there, but then I got to do 2 welds and I think it'll look dumb. So I'm just going to fill in the gap, which really is less than 1/8 of an inch all the way around. It's not really that big of a deal. Just gonna get my angle sorted out here, and then I gotta preheat it with the blowtorch. If I had an oven, I would use that, but I don't, so I won't. I'm gonna try to start welding in a few minutes. The blowtorch's been on here for 15 minutes probably, and I found a second one, so I fired that up too. I have the wastegate pretty much where I think it needs to be. I have it on an angle sort of downward. That way, when the pipe comes out and goes down, this will almost follow it, and I can just kind of pop it into the side. That's eyeballed, but I mean, it should work fine. Either way, if I put it perfectly straight, I could still just angle my pipe, but this should get me a little bit closer. I'm just waiting for this to get as hot as it can get. I know these little blue torches are not great. I should have MAP gas, but I just don't, so I'm working with what I have. I'm gonna start welding in a minute. I didn't get to get any video of welding the wastegate flange on because, well, I broke my tripod. But I got it welded. I don't know how to feel, to be honest. This felt like welding regular mild steel. So I wrapped it up in my welding blanket because I don't have any sand. And I'll leave that all day. I don't know. I assume this is good for keeping heat in. And I read on a forum somebody else did the same thing. Oh boy, I'm scared. Hopefully it works. I'm absolutely terrified, but it's been wrapped up in this fiberglass welding blanket for going on 5 hours now. And it's still warm, but I'm dying to see if it's going to stay attached. So, the only way to do that is to, well, see if it's going to stay attached. Huh. Okay then. It's a good start. So it's not super hot. I can hold my hand here, but it is pretty warm there actually. All right, test number 2. Perfect. All right, for realsies test. Please don't crack. Man, if it hasn't cracked yet, I doubt it's going to. All right, install time. Woo! Well, I gotta say, I don't hate the look of this at all. It's kind of neat. I'm kind of surprised that I haven't tried this before, to be honest. And assuming this doesn't break off the first time I get on the two-step, I think I'll be definitely doing this again because it's much tidier of a package than having this hung off the bottom somewhere or in a place where it's not perfect and hard to route. But this should be kind of cool because I can just run it down here and into the down pipe. Weld it in. Good stuff. I think I'll put cold side on now and see how it all looks. One thing I should have done before bolting my wastegate on was put my blanket on, so maybe I'll do that after. But I still have to take all this stuff off to weld anyway, so yeah, I just gotta cut a slit in it right here, stuff it over that flange, and then it'll be like that, and it'll look even tidier. Neat. Well, that escalated quickly. Charge tubes, hoses, drain, feed, all hooked up. The turbo's clocked where it needs to be clocked. Everything is bolted together. I could fire it up right now actually, except I don't have a wastegate on my bottom hose or bottom exhaust pipe, sorry, going around. So I need to plug weld a cap or whatever onto that just to cap it off, and then I can fire it up. But I need to put my engine covers on because that's disgusting looking. And then after that is just exhaust, and that's it. Awesome. I'm really, really hoping that V-band is not going to leak, and if it does, I'm just going to cry myself to sleep because that's super annoying when V-bands leak. Anyway, so I'm going to go and finish up some more, and when I get at the exhaust, we'll check back in again. Oh yeah, I probably should put my steering shaft back together. Yep, not a bad idea. Well, I haven't checked in much, but I got a whole lot of work done. The exhaust is connected from the turbo all the way back to the tailpipe now. And it was relatively uneventful. It's just one long straight piece of pipe. I'll get under the truck in a second and have a look. But I need to put in my V-band gasket here before I forget, because my next step is to hook this to that. It's not gonna be like perfect, but it's pretty well a straight shot right into this corner right here. So I think what I'll do is grab the plasma cutter, cut out a hole here, and well, the little piece will blow out the back anyway, so it'll be fine. And Then weld the pipe in onto the flange. Perfect, good to go. Alrighty, look at this, man. All welded up. I had a bit of a gap to fill here, but that's just fine. And I trimmed it around with the plasma cutter when I was welding, so that way it should be like a perfect opening. And yeah, everything is all welded up. Perfect clearances. I'm really happy with that. I would have loved to have gotten 4-inch in there, but there's no room for activities whatsoever. I'm gonna put this wheel back on, get it up in the air, and install the oxygen sensor. I need to actually install 2 because one runs my boost controller and the other one is for tuning. And a quick 10-second look underneath. I welded a plug over that. Yes, it's disgusting, but whatever. What are you gonna do? Anyway, comes across here, straight back into the tailpipe, right out the back. Look at that. I like it a lot. I forgot to take this clamp off. Anyway, but yeah, comes out right there. Look at that, man. Beautiful. I'm a huge fan of that. So basically, the truck is done. I just got to plug in one oxygen sensor plug and that's it. We're driving it home. Everything is put together. The door is open, ready to fire it up. I got the turbo blanket put on after. That turned out really nice. I just had to cut it here, so no doubt there's going to be fiberglass everywhere. Lovely. Anyway, so everything is all put together. I put my intake on, and this is not a filter, it's just a pipe. Here are my little PCV hoses. This is obviously not correct, but I'm sure it works. Turbo creates a vacuum, pulls crankcase gases out. PCV. Let's fire it up, have a listen. I have not heard this yet, and I'm very excited. Oh, that sounds freaky. Oh, boy, that sounds freaky. It is way louder than long tubes. Wow. Wicked. Ooh, it definitely makes boost. I think it's louder. I think it's actually louder than what it was before with the long tube headers, which I wouldn't have expected. But man, it's not bad at all. It's got a cool sound to it. I just heard a little bit of clappiness when I first started off, and if it continues like that, I may have to put like a little bullet muffler or something in there, because I really don't love clappy sounding exhaust. So, I mean, it's got a very long, it's got like 10 or 12 feet of straight section. So, I mean, that's it. These things happen. I do have a 3.5-inch bullet muffler, and I have a 3-inch bullet muffler, and, well, I have a section of 3 inch and a section of 3.5. So, you know, see what it's like. It's not too bad. We'll see. If I don't love it, then I'll change it again. Not a big deal. But as of right now, the truck is running and driving. It's got amazing oil pressure. I just had to stop and get some gas because, of course, this thing's always on gas light. And, dude, it's running and driving. Inside the truck, there's basically no drone whatsoever. With the window down, no drone whatsoever. I'm talking in my normal indoor voice, and I'm sure you can hear me. This is exciting. Very, very exciting. I'm a huge fan. And one really cool thing is I don't hear any exhaust leaks. Cross your fingers, cross your toes, cross your eyes, all that. I don't hear any exhaust leaks. So I feel like my gasket may have been a success, which is kind of cool. We'll see how that lasts as well. If it doesn't last, I don't know what to do. I've had like 10 different turbo combinations on this thing and exhaust combinations, so, you know, it might make a... Okay.
right, well, I'm done. I'm gonna have lots of videos up on this thing, of course, like I always do. Lots of draggy runs, lots of just driving around, that kind of thing, and inevitably working on it. But I'm all done for today. Let me know what you think. I know it's a really quick video, really quick process. I didn't have a lot of time to be filming and stuff because I'm right in the middle of renovations and I gotta put in every little minute that I can. So thanks for checking out the channel. Thanks to my YouTube members, patrons, and subscribers. If you want to check out Patreon, it's patreon.com/stationroadratrods. YouTube members link is down here.